In this video, we're going to build an automation software with Rust. The software is basically just an application, a CLI tool rather, that we pass in a string of text and it searches through a specified location. It can be a file, it can be a directory, or it can even be the entire computer. It searches through that specified location for files that contain that string of text, and it returns it to us. It returns the name of the file and the location of the file. So that's what we're going to try and build here. Just get out of this location. First thing first, before you even move forward with this video, make sure you have Rust set up and it's working correctly in your PC, because that's going to be very essential. And with that out of the way, I think we can just go ahead to building the project. So first, we're just going to run cargo build bin and name it cargo build text. I do have that before, but let's call this YouTube. Cargo new rather. Okay, so we've created the banner application. We can clear this and seed into text. Okay. Okay, so this is basically the file. So the first thing we're going to try and do is install our dependency. The first one we're going to install is clap. Clap is going to be what we're going to use to pass the argument that we pass into our command line, so that we can actually get the location we're trying to search and the file, the word we're trying to search as well. So we're just going to run cargo add clap. And we're also going to need regex just to help us with search and make it easier. So we're going to run cargo add regex. And there are also going to be other packages we're going to add, but I think for now we can start with this. The first thing I'm going to do is add the functionality for extracting arguments from the terminal, because that's very important. We need to extract the arguments that have been passed to the terminal so that we know what we're trying to search for and the location we're trying to search in. So we're going to open my browser, and okay, yeah, I already have this open. So okay, we're going to update our installation to add this derive feature, because without this derive feature we're not going to be able to use this struct, this format for working with clap. So just going to update that. Yeah, just as simple as that. And now we're going to copy this. Let's copy all the code we have here. We're going to edit it later. Just copy that and paste it here. Okay, now first thing we're going to need is the location. Let's name it log, and it's going to be a string. We can leave this, we can change this description if we want. So and we're going to add, okay, we need the location and we need the search string at least to start with. So we're just going to call it search for the search string and leave that the way it is. We're going to set it to the current directory. So So this dot indicates current directory. So we're going to leave that as the default value. Yeah, and we can print what we have in the arg so we know what we're actually working on. And with that saved, we're gonna run our code. Okay, so we haven't passed any of the arguments. That's why we're getting this error, invalid value. Or wait, okay, sorry, we need to edit this. I just noticed we left that as a U8 string. Let's convert that back to a string, and this default value is not meant to be here. It's meant to be on the location, because that's the default location. And let's set our default value here for hello world. So if nothing is passed for that argument, the default value is going to be hello world. So I'm just going to clear this. Oh, let me increase the font just to make it easier to be viewed. Okay, I think that's better. So if we run this code now again, okay, so we see that our args are, let me clear this and run it again so it's more visible. Our args are lock, which is our location, and search, which is going to be hello world, because those are the default values. Now for us to set the default values ourselves, since we have not compiled this into a binary, we have to add this to dash, so that we indicate to Rust or to cargo that everything that comes after is going to be an argument, and then we specify our argument with this to dash again before the argument we want to specify, and we can see that the location is going to be but the location should be like / which is root directory on a MacBook. I'm not sure about the PC, but just / means root directory on a Mac. And if we add our search, it's going to be let's say we want to search hello. So if we run that, we see that our new location is now / and the search is now hello. So we've got our arguments covered. The next thing we're going to try and do is find a way to traverse the directory or the location and get every file and every directory that is in that particular location. And I think we can do that with a package called what's it called? I think it's called work directory, right? Yeah, this we can do that with work directory, which is like a package that has already been built. It makes it easy to traverse a particular path that has been given and get whatever files are in that particular location that you have specified. So we're going to just install that. Let me clear this. Just give it a little bit of time. Okay, now if we look into here, they give us some examples. If we look further down, the write-up, the readme rather, we'll see that we were given some examples, and the one we're interested in is this, because this basically goes through the location you have given it, and it goes through all of them, and if it's a directory, it goes through every file in that directory. and if there's also a directory there, it also goes through that directory. So it basically traverses every single directory in a recursive manner, so that no no file is left behind. So yeah, that is how that works. So we're gonna just copy this code. If we read this, it will say, if you like to iterate over all entries and ignore any errors that might arise. This any errors that may arise might be like files that are not meant to be accessed, or files that might have an issue or something. Now it will skip them because there's an error. You understand? So that is what they mean by it will ignore those errors and that may arise, and basically keep going through every other directory and every other content in every directory that it comes across. So basically it's going to go through every file in a particular directory that I've been given, no matter how deep it is nested into a particular directory. I don't know, I hope that actually makes sense. Let's copy that code and let's create a different function here and call it search content. And okay, let's call it search location instead, because we are searching a particular location. So let's call it search location, and we're going to paste the code we have, and let's not forget to import the package. Just gonna add that here. And now we need to modify this to actually use the path that we have specified from our argument. So if we recall from running our code before, we'll see that we have this in like a structure, a struct format, right? We can access our arguments just like we access the values of a struct in Rust. So that is just going to be, if we are to call this here, if we are to call search loc here and pass args dot loc. So this is how we access it. But first let's modify this to specify the type of argument we are expecting, which is going to be a string. We can just make this a string by adding this, since it's already its type is already this. We can format it to a string slice by just adding ampersand there. And yeah, we are ready to go from there, and we modify this to loc, and we are good to go. So if we run this again, it should print the paths available in the location we specified, which by default is going to be this the top directory, which is this directory we're working in. So we're going to leave the default value here, because if we use what we have here, which is /, it's going to go to the root of our PC and try to list every file in our PC, which is going to take a lot of time. So let's just leave the default values. Okay, so it seems this is what we have here. So the thing is that this accesses every single directory and every single file in every single directory. So this is everything that is in here. You can see it's accessing the codes in this target. That's why it's like enormous like this. So that works. Let's keep going forward. Just close this, and since we know that we are now able to get that, what we need to do next is find a way to differentiate if the path that has been specified is directory or a file, because this specifies all the path it comes across, regardless of if it's a file or a directory. So now we want to make sure that we actually differentiating between a file and a directory. So in order to do that, what we just have to do is if entry dot file type dot is file. So this means that it's a file. And instead of printing, instead of like displaying the path, let's just display the file name instead. I think that's going to be better to look at. And else if entry dot file type that is directory, then we know that this is a directory, so we can run using file name also works in getting the directory name as well, so that works as well. And if we run that, we should see that differentiated in our results. Cargo. Okay, now we see that we have files here and we have directories. So that was quite easy, right? Nothing too complicated there. Now the next thing we're going to try to do is search for a particular string. Now to do that, we are going to use regex. We're going to use our regex, and we're also going to find a way to actually access the contents of that file using Rust. So let's just create a function search content, and now this search content is basically going to use regex to look through the contents of a file and check if a particular word exists or a particular string exists in that file. We need to find a way to retrieve the contents of a particular file as a string. To do that, we have to access some OS commands with Rust. Okay, let's name it data. Can be, I think I can do fs. Let's import that first. Read to string, and we need the path that we are trying to read to string. Okay, so we have to find a way to access the location of that file again, which is quite important, and we also need to access the search string because we need that for our regex. Okay, we need a way to also access the search string for our regex, but first let's write out the regex function, or the regex command rather. That should be oh yeah, this should be new. So this is where our search string is going to be, and we just need to unwrap that because that returns a result type. Now unwrapping it returns the regex, which we're going to use for searching for what we want to search. Let's just add this to the parameters and replace this with search. Okay, so the search is going to represent the string we're trying to search, and yeah, this is basically all we need for the regex part of things. And going forward, now all we just need to do is we have to check if the string if the search string is actually in the data we are retrieving. First, we also need to check if the file was successfully converted into string, because all we know here from here is that we're retrieving a file's content as a string. Now we have to make sure that it was actually converted successfully. So to do that, we're going to do dot is error. Okay, so if is error, let's return false. Return false. And let's modify this to return a boolean. Else. Okay, not else basically. I'm gonna have another if statement. So basically what this does is it checks if this regex is in our data, and if it's there, it will return true. Else it's just return false. Let's modify this to just be this format. I think that's better. And yeah, this is going to give us an error because that is the result. We have to unwrap that. Found string. Okay, I think this should work. So let's change this to lock instead of path. Yeah. So let's see if that works. We can call the function here, search content, passing our lock as lock, and let's get search here as well as a string, and we can do the same thing we did here. Args search, and yeah, we're good to go. Let's run the code. So what we're seeing is false for most of them, since they don't contain the string hello world. But our main.rs contains, meaning that we are having an error somewhere, because we are quite sure that main.rs contains hello world, because this is literally that. So let's see where we're having an issue. Okay, I think I just found where the issue is. So here, the path we are passing through to our search content is the path the path we used for the work directory rather, which is like the root directory path. But we need to specify the particular file we are currently in, the path of this particular file we are currently in. So basically, to explain better, for this for loop here, loops through every file in the directory of the path we specified here with this argument, or with this parameter rather. Now, instead of passing the location of the files we are looping through, we are just passing the location we started at, which is causing an error when actually searching each individual file. So in order to search each individual file, we're going to get the file or directory we are currently in. So that's going to be gotten by entry dot I think it's path, and we're going to have to change the type, but let me see the error that we get first. Okay, this is the path. We're going to change it to string, and I think this returns a result or something, an option, so we can unwrap that. And yeah, let's try run this again and see what happens. Let me clear this. Okay, so we see that in our main.rs we're actually getting through this time around because we are actually searching the main.rs this time. So we see that this is working. So for directories, I think something that is nice is actually to search for the to look through the name of the directory and see if that directory's name actually coincides with the word we're trying to search. So that shouldn't be too complex. All we have to do is, let's use a different function here, and I think all we just need is the search string that we are searching for, and let's copy this. Okay, let's actually access the title here. That is the name of the file. Let's call it title, or actually let's use name instead because that makes more sense. Okay, you can do if regex dot is match on name. There's no needed, it's more JavaScript. Okay, if regex does is match like for name, what we have to do is return true, meaning that the name of the file actually contains that string we're searching for, else we return false. And that's all there is to it for looking into the name of the file. And I think that we can also do it for regular files as well. Let's just not limit it to directories. We can also do that for files, but for now let's add that to our code. We can leave search the way it is, and for title we're going to use entry dot file name. Okay, argument. Okay, let's add that here. And we need to convert this to a string. Okay, and unwrap. Let's do the same for files as well. Yeah. Before we run this, let's actually create. I think we'll have an error here. Let's make room for displaying that. Okay, before we run that code, let's actually create a directory named hello world so we can actually test things out. clear. And okay, we're getting through here, and we're getting through for hello world, which is the directory that we named hello world. So we're seeing that things are actually working properly. Now we don't want all that content to be displayed on the screen. We just want only the ones that matched to be displayed, right? So to do that, let's create a conditional statement. Let's create one for this. That is just matching the content, or searching for this is just going to be for if the content of a particular file match or matches the search string. So if the content matches our search string, what we're going to do is print file content contains let's display the file name as well. And let's display the location of the file. Okay, the file name is going to be entry dot file name, and the file path is going to be entry dot I just forgot how to get the path. Okay, entry dot path. Yeah. Oh, this should be search. Okay, and I think we can remove this. Let's do something similar for the directory. Directory name contains search string. Let's distance those words. I think it's better like that. And directory location. Yeah, I think this works as well. But now we're going to modify that to this. Also, let's see how we can actually indicate if a file name contains the search string. With that, I think we're actually good to go. Let me just clear this and save that. Let's run the code again. I mean, that's the goal. Okay, So here we have directory name contains hello world. Directory name, we get the directory name here, and we get the directory location, and then we have file content contains hello world. We get the file name and we get the file location. Let's add an extra new line here just for spacing reasons. Add that here and here, just to make things look a little cleaner. Yeah, that looks better, I guess. So now we can actually look through any directory we want. Again, you can also look through your entire computer. Let me try something here. It's going to take quite a lot of time, but let's see if we can look through our computer for a particular string. Okay, what's the argument? This is loc, and for the location, also we can actually, with clap, we can just use a shorter version of what we had before, which is just going to be that dash and the first letter of the word, and we can also specify what we want to use as the short version. If we want it to be P instead, we can do this, and now the short version is going to be P instead of S. Instead of L rather. So just to throw that out there. But yeah, we're going to stick with what we have, which is L, and just our entire PC. We're going to use that, and let's search for something interesting. Let me see if how many files actually have this. I think there's just a basic JavaScript code. So let's see. Okay. Say unexpected arguments found. Okay, yeah, we didn't specify that we're actually passing arguments now, so I think that should work. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of time because it's going through everything. I'm thinking of actually creating a different video where we try to optimize things with threads to make searching files and directories a little faster. I think that would be fun to do, because I mean, why not? Like, okay, this is taking a little bit of time. Okay, it's found one, jammies.rb, which is in this location. Let's open file in editor and actually confirm that it actually contains that. Oh yeah, it does contain it. Document.kelemember.id. So I feel like everything is working the way it's meant to. Before this goes out of hand, let's just close it, because I'm sure it's gonna take more time to actually go through everything in my computer to search for files that have that. With that said, I think that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you actually got anything important from this video, and I'll see you next time in the next video.